Hey everyone. In today's video, we're going to see about quantizing LLM model. So, quantizing in the sense you want to compress the LLM, that means large language model, into a smaller size, which is going to be in your local. You can use it in your local and anywhere it may be, and you can actually access it. When I say large language model, I'm not saying Gemini or OpenAI, the GPT, the latest version, Sonnet, Claude, or anything, because it is not available openly and it is impossible to compress those things. Because the purpose, ultimate purpose, it got released is to serve for large text to access, to respond back to you with a lot of, wild knowledge. But when I say quantizing this LLM, some of them like Gemini and OpenAI have released like a basic model, the base model, which means those weights, the weights which used to train the entire model, they have released that, like Gemma with 2 billion parameters and 7 billion parameters. In OpenAI, we have like similar to that. So we can actually access some of those space models and compress, or you can fine tune it. So I'm going to post consecutive two videos, like one and next videos on Saturday. Today we'll see about quantizing. On Saturday, we'll see like how to fine tune the base model. So you can ask me like, is there any possibility that we can compress the large language model? No, it is not. You can't just have that much space in your system. And even quantizing this 2B parameters, you need space. You need to buy GPU for it. Or if you're someone who's like trying to access through your local system, it is going to crash. So it is not easy for anybody. And it is not available also. They didn't really release any weights or parameters that they trained with. So openly they gave this a Gemma 2B, and also Google have given some of advantage in using it in your Google Colab, because they released with proper GPU access and also the RAM, and it is free. So you can actually fine tune it with the open access that they have released by Google. But in today's video, we're going to see quantizing it, how we're going to do it, and how the result is actually came by compressing the base model. Okay, if you're seeing this, this is a code that I created for quantizing. So when you see, I just downloaded this Gemini, uh, the Gemma 2 billion parameters from Hugging Face. You need to have this token ID, which you can create from Hugging Face. It is free. And here is your bits and byte package. Here, it offers the service to compress your model. So compress in the sense like if we take like float and we can just transfer that, like reduce the size to integer. You can understand the size of it, right? Like how the compression actually works. You just going to reduce the bit size, that's all, bit by bit. So for that, I'm using bits and bytes configuration package, which is going to help me to compress my model. And I'm using tokenizer and model, which I got from Hugging Face. That is Gemma 2 billion. Why I'm using 2 billion? I don't have space. 7 billion, you need minimum 2 GPU if you're like doing anything with it. So it is not easy. GPU in the sense, you need RAM actually, like 32 GB RAM you need specifically if you're going with 7B of Gemma model to do anything. So it is not something to think of. But for learning, you can use, is what I say. And it is like very good idea of compressing LLM to use for your own custom data instead of going with open data. You can ask the model to have, to write poem or to generate an article about machine learning. For general purpose like ChatGPT we can use. But ChatGPT also, it is not customized, but we can actually rely on that since it's a large language model. But these kind of quantizing thing, we can't rely completely on it. Let's see the output, how it is actually gave. I'll show you the output, the result. Here I'm quantizing it for summarizing, for summarization, text summarization simply. So when I give my text, it should summarize because it's like trained with billion parameters, and I'm going to suppress it with 4-bit. I mean, 4 bit. Uh, so I didn't do anything. I just used tokenizer and the model, which is like pre-trained of Gemma 2B. And I'm just going to quantizing it using this particular package, which will reduce the size of it. That's all. And I'm going to just ask it to summarize some of the input which I gave. And I'll show you the output which I got from this model. So the input I gave is it's an email. Okay, it's a email where I'm asking for shipping details of, or I'm giving a shipping details whether it is feasible to deliver in this address or not. So this is the email, actual context of my email. But for that, I got a hybrid model will be implemented in phases. The first phase will be implemented in the first week of school. The second phase will be implemented in the second week of school. Okay, so it is completely out of context. What I am getting to know from this is they've released a base model which trained with the open source data, I mean, open data. So, what it will give you is the prediction of next word. What is the upcoming word? That is what language model is like. Even if you're like asking it to have like, how are you and how are things, it prefers how are you because there'll be like majority of people who will use that word. I would say don't uh, go immediately for quantizing if you don't have enough space to have a proper model, or use something a bit large than Gemma 2B. I didn't try with 7B and all because I don't have enough space. If you guys like offer to have one, you can try and let me know. But personally, I prefer fine tuning than this. And even fine tuning, let's see like Gemma how it is actually because it is large. Already quantizing, we are suppressing it, right? So when you go with Gemma or any base model that they have released, it is already a big model for quantizing it or even fine tuning. If you are allowed to have like bigger space like for GPU or having like 32 GB of RAM if you can afford, we can actually try this thing with. But what I would genuinely prefer is like having a small, very small model, which is like lot available in Hugging Face. Try to make use of those instead of like going with this generic base model that they have released. Um, if you look at this, the response is not okay. And even I actually saved the specific thing in my local after the quantizing it. I just saved that into my local space. But to read, I mean, to load and get the response, it is taking like around 40 minutes to respond back. It's like waste of time, right? Like it is unnecessary to have. Even if you're like your RAM should be supposed to have like more. You should have more RAM. Maybe that uh you can actually get like quick response. I agree. But what is the point spending so much money on this thing and not having you don't know like whether it will be good or not even after purchasing so much and doing such. So for me, it is exaggerated, but we can still use like very small model and do this. But quantizing something, compressing a model is like for me, it is waste of time. Um, so that's all for today. Next video is going to be fine tuning. So stay tuned.